Alright, welcome to Dragon Horde Gaming. Today's video, we're going to be opening the Commander Prismari Performance deck. Alright, we see our Zaffi Thunder Conductor, fake card. Here's the back of the box, and we start with the pull strip. Now, if you're not going to include an actual oversized card, maybe shrink down the commander size stuff, because you're getting all this cardboard here, all this cardboard here. You can get this deck, all the stuff that you just purchased. You're not purchasing this stuff. I have not seen a single person who's using these counters at all. I'm personally cutting out the fake card in the front and so forth. It's like I do see people use this. Spin down life counters. These are always interesting because you can get the story behind some of these characters. And here we got the deck. Alright. Here we go. Let's take a look here at the tokens. We got our thick commander of the foil etched Zaffi Thunder Conductor. We got a bunch of Drake, treasure tokens, elemental 5/5 tokens, trash card, copy tokens, constructs, so that's going to be for the one mythic, and the elemental tokens. Alright. Alright, we got starting with Zaffi Thunder Conductor. Costs 4 to generic, a blue and a red with Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, scry 1. If that spell's mana value is 5 or greater, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. If that spell's mana value is 10 or greater, Zaffi Thunder Collector deals 10 damage to an opponent chosen. Okay, it's Thunder Conductor up there. Thunder Collector down there. Is that on the box too? Yeah, it's on the box too. What about the etched foil thing? Is that Collector too? Yeah, that's Collector too. Well, good job, Wizards, on your quality control. At least it's not scratched all the hell. Alright. Veyron, voice of Duality. Costs 3, a generic, a red and a blue. Magecraft, when you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, Veyron gets +1/+1 until end of turn. If you're casting or copying an instant sorcery spell, causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. That ability triggers an additional time. Okay. Resculpt. We got Resculpt, Stormclean Artist, Elemental Masterpiece, Expressive Iteration, Rutha, Mercurial Artist, which is another option as your commander in this deck. Okay. Letter of Acceptance, Prismari Campus, Study Hall, Brainstorm, Living Lore, Ponder, Serum Visions, Traumatic Visions, Treasure Cruise, Faithless Looting, Fiery Fall, Humble Defector, Mana Geyser, Seething Song, Crackling Drake, Arcane Signet, Hedron's Archive, Is It Signet, or is it? Mind Stone, Soul Ring, Talisman of Creativity, Blighted Cataract, Command Tower, Dazzling Sphinx. Cost 5, 3 generic, 2 blue. Flying. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery card. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost, then that player puts the exiled cards that weren't cast this way on the bottom of their library in a random order. Inspiring Refrain, costs 6, 4 generic, 2 blue. Draw 2 cards, exile Inspiring Refrain with 3 time counters on it. Suspend 3 for 2 generic and a blue. Alright. Muse Vortex, cost X and 2 blue. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may cast an instant sorcery spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. Then put the exiled instant sorcery cards that weren't cast this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay, so you can just pull up all your counter spells if you don't have something to counter. Octavia, Living Thesis. It's a cost 10, 8 generic, 2 blue. The spell costs 8 less to cast if you have 8 or more instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. Ward 8. You have to pay 8 to be able to target this thing. Too bad a board wipe won't worry too much. Magecraft. Whenever you cast a copy of an instant sorcery spell, target creature base power and toughness has base power and toughness 8/8 until end of turn. Sly Instigator, cost 4, 3 generic and a blue. Pay 1 blue, tap until your next turn. Target creature and opponent controls can't be blocked. Goad this creature. Creative Technique, cost 5 for generic and a red. Demonstrate, shuffle your library, then reveal cards from the top of it until you reveal a non-land card. Exile that card and put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost. Fiery Encore, cost 5 for generic and red. Discard a card, then draw a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Fiery Encore deals damage equal to that card's mana value to target creature or planeswalker. Storm. Inferno Project, cost 7, 6 generic and a red. Trample. Inferno Project enters battlefield with X1 counters on it, where X is the total mana value of instant sorcery cards in your graveyard. That's okay. That seems to be a very powerful card in late game. Radiant Performer, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 red. Flash. When it enters battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, choose target spell or ability that targets only a single permanent or player. Copy that spell or ability for each other permanent or player that spell or ability could target. Each copy targets a different one of those permanents and players. Rinya Fire Dancer, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 red. Beginning your combat on your turn, create X tokens that are copies of another target creature you control, where X is 1 plus the number of instant sorcery spells you've cast this turn. They gain haste. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. Rousing Refrain, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 red. Add 1 red mana for each card in target opponent's hand. Till end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases in. Exile Rousing Refrain with 3 time counters on it. Suspend 3 for 2, a generic and a red. Surge to Victory, cost 6, 4 generic, 2 red. Exile target instant sorcery card from your graveyard. Creatures you control get plus X plus O until end turn, where X is that card's mana value. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player this turn, copy the exiled card. You may cast a copy without paying its mana cost. Reinterpret. Cost 4, 2 generic in blue and red. Counter target spell. You may cast a spell with equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. Okay, is it equal to the spell that was countered? Counter target spell. You may cast a spell with an equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. That is a weird counter spell. Elementalist's Palette, cost 3. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, put 2 charge counters on Elemental Palette. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Tap, add colorless for each charge counter on Elementalist's Palette. Spend this mana only on costs that contain X. That's going on a Hydra deck. Aether Gale, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 blue. Return 6 target non-land permanents to their owner's hand. Aether Spouts, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 blue. For each attacking creature, its owner puts it on top or bottom of their library. Dig Through Time, cost 8, 6 generic, 2 blue. With Delve, look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Delivium Primordial, cost 7, 5 generic, 2 blue. Flying. When it enters battlefield, for each opponent you may cast up to 1 target instant sorcery card from that player's graveyard without paying its mana cost. If a spell cast this way would be put into a graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Metallurgic Summonings, cost 5, 3 generic, 2 blue. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, create XX colorless construct artifact creature token where X is that spell's mana value. Pay 5, 3 generic, 2 blue. Exile Metallurgic Summonings. Return all instant sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only if you control 6 or more artifacts. Mind's Desire. Cost 6, 4 generic, 2 blue. Shuffle your library, then exile the top card of your library. Until end of turn, you may play that card without paying its mana cost. Storm. Naramaha. Master Wizard. Cost 4, 2 generic, 2 blue. Flash. When it enters the battlefield, copy target instant sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Other wizards you control get +1/+1. Swarm Intelligence. Cost 7, 6 generic and blue. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Tolran Sky Summoner, costs 4, 2 generic, 2 blue. Or you cast an instant sorcery spell, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. Apex of Power, costs 10, 7 generic, and 3 red. Exile the top 7 cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among them. If this spell was cast from your hand, add 10 mana of any one color. Blasphemous Act, costs 9, 8 generic and red. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. It deals 13 damage to each creature. Brass's Bounty, costs 7, 6 generic and a red. For each land you control, create a treasure token. Charmbreaker Devils, costs 6, 5 generic and a red. At the beginning of upkeep, return an instant sorcery card at random from your graveyard to your hand. Whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, Charmbreaker Devils gets +4/+0 until end of turn. Dualcaster Mage, cost 3, generic and 2 red. Flash. When Dualcaster Mage enters the battlefield, copy target instant sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Erratic Cyclops, cost 4, 3 generic and red. Trample. When you cast an instant sorcery spell, Erratic Cyclops gets +X/+0 till end of turn, where X is that spell's mana value. Itali Primal Storm, costs 6 for generic 2 red. When it attacks, exile the top card of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of spells from among those cards without paying their mana cost. GI Ballard, cost 5, 2 generic and 3 red. Pay 1, add 3 red mana. Spend this mana only to cast instant sorcery spells. Pay 1, discard up to 3 cards, then draw that many cards. You get an emblem with you may -8. You get an emblem with you may cast instant sorcery spells from your graveyard. If the spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Sunbird's Invocation, costs 6, 5 generic and a red. When you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is that spell's mana value. You may cast a spell with mana value X or less from among cards revealed this way, without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Volcanic Visions, cost 7, 5 generic, 2 red. Return target instant sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Volcanic Vision deals damage equal to that card's mana value to each creature your opponents control. Exile Volcanic Vision. Wildfire Devils, cost 4, 3 generic and a red. When it enters battlefield, and at the beginning of your upkeep, choose a player at random. That player exiles an instant sorcery card from the graveyard. Copy that card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Call of Skybreakers, cost 7, 5 generic and 2 hybrid blue-red. Created 5/5 blue-red elemental creature token with flying. Retrace. Epic Experiment, cost X and blue and red. Exile the top card of your library. You may cast instant sorcery spells with mana value X or less from among them without paying their mana cost. Then put all cards exiled this way that weren't cast into your graveyard. Pyromancer's Goggles, cost 5 generic. Tap, add a red. When this mana is spent to cast a red instant sorcery spell, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets for the copy. Exotic Orchard, add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Scavenging Grounds, tap for a colorless, pay 2, tap, sacrifice it, exile all cards from all graveyards. Shivan Reef, taps for colorless, or taps for blue or red, and it deals 1 damage to you. Temple of Epiphany, enters tapped. When it enters, scry 1, taps for blue or red. Desert of Fervent, Desert of the Mindful, Forgotten Cave, Is It Boilerworks, Lonely Sandbar, Mage Ring Network, Memorial to Genius, Myriad Landscape, Reliquary Tower, Temple of the False God, and then onto the basic lands. Which, yeah, they're Strixhaven lands. Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like, share, comment, and subscribe. Good luck in your openings, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.